Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola. Whether you're watching from right in this room and joining us here, or whether you are online watching us at home, I'm so glad to see all of you here and glad to know that you are watching us. My name is Laura Keith King. My pronouns are she and her. And we are a lay-led congregation, as most of you here know, so our services are different each week because we have no settled minister. Please take a moment, unless you're at home, you don't have to do this, but if you're here, please turn off the sound on your mobile phones. It can be very embarrassing if we're in the middle of a prayer and some wild song comes on. Wild thing, bum, bum, whatever.
Wow. Yeah, I like this song. Wow, thank you. All right.
If you are new,
Wow.
you may have been handed one of these when you came in, and it will tell you about our congregation. It tells you our 8 principles, our covenant, what we do with our offering, information about joining, and it says that we hope your time with us is worthwhile. If you are new, you can write your name on a piece of paper on the credenza out there, and we'll make you a name tag. Also, there's a card for your information if you want to receive our emails, which come about once a week. And again, welcome. I have a few announcements. The Lunch Bunch will meet this Wednesday, the 8th of July at 1 p.m. at the New Hong Kong restaurant on Davis Highway. And if you want information, see Hugh Ed, he's got his hand up there.
Okay.
On behalf of the caring team, you may have received an email about helping the Brockway family. In case you didn't get it or need a reminder, there are notices posted in the lobby here, right on the door as you come in and on the door as you go out, with a QR code, or you can see me and I can help you sign up to bring a dinner or donate money. If you've been attending and would like to know more about what it means to be a member or friend of UUCP, join us at the newcomer orientation on Sunday, July 19th, after the Sunday service. At about 11:30 here in the sanctuary, we will gather so you can learn more about our church, our history, and what commitment is expected as a member or friend of our congregation. And you can see Lauren and Zaldo for more details. She's not here today, but if you want that, just see me and I'll give you her phone number. That's all our announcements. That was pretty brief today. And now we will light our chalice. Ed, would you come up and light the chalice? I will speak some words. May this flame we light remind us that each one of us can bring the light of love to the world. May this clear flame be a symbol that every heart can burn bright with joy, peace, and harmony. May the wisdom of ages speak to us through this flame and stay in us. Thank you. Every one of us can be a blessing to the world. And those are words by Peter Samalczewski. And now, Mike Kilmer and our musicians will play some centering music.
All right. That's why I'm ready.
And I think I'm going to invite anyone who wants to just kind of start engaging your breath, and you can use your voice we're just going to play that same thing that we played for the prelude, which is a song that Joey brought in. It's this.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And you can put your hand on your belly. And remember that your belly is where you're breathing. I mean, you'll feel the breathing apparatus when your belly engages and expands. Because it makes room for your air, your lungs to fill with prana, with life, with air. If you want to, feel free to close your eyes. One more.
Thank you. And our opening words by Thomas Merton, adapted. We are living in the greatest revolution in history, a huge, spontaneous upheaval of the entire human race. Not a revolution planned and carried out by any particular party, race, or nation, but a deep, elemental boiling over of all the inner contradictions that have ever been. A revelation of the chaotic forces inside everybody. This is not something we have chosen, nor is it something we are free to avoid. Now, you may stand if you are willing and able. We're going to sing our opening song, This Land Is Your Land, written in the 1930s by Woody Guthrie. And it was a protest song of its time, regardless of what my elementary school teachers had us singing in 1965. I've written an additional verse to make it a little bit more timely, and I hope you'll enjoy singing this.
And if you feel like you can't sing, that's a myth, first of all. But just say, yell, it's just words.
It is words.
And I don't think anyone here is mute. And if you were, I would suggest just dance.
Yeah.
Please remain standing, as most of you have done. If you are able and willing, we will recite the UUCP covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is love. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. All right, you may be seated. I'm seeing a lot of red, white, and blue out there. I had a red sweater on, but it was too hot. All right. So, you know we have to pay for our electric bill and our internet and our paid staff. And this is the time when we ask you all to chip in. It's the time for our offering. The choir will come back up. We're going to sing a little to you while we're picking up the money. If you see people who aren't giving, it's because they're giving automatically through their bank deposits, automatically through online. And you can donate a one-time thing if you want by dialing that number up there. You'll recognize this melody if you've been singing here for a while. Now is the time during our service where we share our joys and sorrows and concerns. This part of the service is not broadcast, so those of you watching from home will see a little video and you can watch it, or if you've already watched it 20 times, you can fast forward through it. So please come up here on one side and the other, and we will take turns. Please speak your name, and you can drop a pebble into the water for each joy or sorrow that you want to share.
Oops, sorry.
And we'll start with one large pebble for all of the sorrows and concerns of our world community. For me to introduce our message for today. And I thought, and our Sunday services team agreed with me, that it would be appropriate to honor our history on this 250th anniversary weekend of our country. And some people feel like Black history is not part of American history, but I disagree. Black history is part of American history. And this speech of Frederick Douglass was given at a keynote oration, as the keynote oration, on an Independence Day celebration on July 5th, 1852. And if you know your history, you know slavery was still an active thing in this country during those years. Frederick had escaped from slavery, due in large part to his wife, who really helped him a lot. And he gave this speech in front of President Millard Fillmore and thousands of other notable guests. In his speech, while he acknowledged the greatness and work of the founders of the United States, he delivered an impassioned diatribe against slavery and decried the hypocrisy of the American government in the 1850s. In perhaps the greatest line of his speech, he said, "I say it with a sad sense of the disparity between us. I am not included within the pale of glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us." And I will say there's a growing distance between our classes in this country now. His notes for the speech were over 10,000 words, which would have taken over an hour to deliver in full. So I've chosen excerpts of this speech that I think parallel a lot of the politics of today. And I invite you to consider how our patriotism can inspire us to continue working to make our country a place of liberty and justice for all. And now I will welcome Michael Gaines, who will give the first excerpt.
These are the words of Frederick Douglass, an amazing man. Imagine yourself a black person, a black man, addressing the President of the United States. He had something to say, and it started like this. Friends and fellow citizens, this for the purpose of this celebration is the 4th of July. It is the birthday of your national independence and of your political freedom. It carries your minds back to the day and to the act of your great deliverance, and to the wonders associated with that act and that day. Your fathers, who had not adopted the fashionable idea of this day, of the infallibility of government and the good character of its acts, presumed to differ from the home government in respect to the wisdom and justice of some of those burdens and restraints. They pronounced the measures of government unjust, unreasonable, and oppressive, and such as ought not to be quietly submitted to. Feeling themselves harshly and unjustly treated by the home government, your forefathers, like men of honesty and men of spirit, earnestly sought redress. They petitioned and remonstrated. They did so in a decorous, respectful, and loyal manner. This, however, did not answer their purpose. They saw themselves treated with sovereign indifference, coldness, and scorn. Yet they persevered. As the sheet anchor takes a firmer hold when the ship is tossed by the storm, so did the cause of your fathers grow stronger as it breasted the chilling blasts of kingly displeasure. The greatest and best of British statesmen admitted its justice, and the loftiest eloquence of the British Senate came to its support. But with that blindness which seems to be the unwavering characteristic of tyrants since Pharaoh and his hosts were drowned in the Red Sea, the British government persisted in the accusations complained of. Oppression makes a wise man go mad. Your fathers were wise men, and they became restive under this treatment. They felt themselves the victim of grievous wrongs, wholly incurable in their colonial capacity. With brave men, there is always a remedy for oppression. Just here, the idea of a total separation of the colonies from the crown was born. It was a startling idea, much more so than we at this distance of time regard it. The timid and the prudent that day were, of course, shocked and alarmed by it. Little aside, what's coming really does resonate today. Such people lived then, had lived before, and will probably ever have a place on this planet. They hate all change except silver, gold, and copper change. Of this sort of change, they are always strongly in favor. Prescient. Citizens, your fathers succeeded, and today you reap the fruits of their success. The freedom gained is yours, and you therefore may properly celebrate this anniversary. Pride and patriotism, not less than gratitude, prompt you to celebrate and to hold the 4th of July in perpetual remembrance. The principles contained in your Declaration of Independence are saving principles. Stand by these principles at whatever cost. Fellow citizens, the signers of the Declaration of Independence were brave men. They were great men too, great enough to give fame to a great age. They were statesmen, patriots, and heroes, and for the good they did and the principles they contended for, I will unite with you to honor their memory. They loved their country better than their own private interests, and all will concede that it is a rare virtue, and it ought to command respect. He who will intelligently lay down his life for his country is a man whom it is not in human nature to despise. Your fathers staked their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor on the cause of their country. In this admiration of liberty, they lost sight of all their other interests. They were peaceful men, but they preferred revolution to peaceful submission to bondage. They were quiet men, but they did not shrink from agitating against oppression. They showed forbearance, but showed that they knew its limits. They believed in order, but not in the order of tyranny. With them, nothing was settled that was not right. With them, justice, liberty, and humanity were final, not slavery and oppression. You may well cherish the memory of such men. They were great in their day and generation. Their solid manhood stands out the more as we contend it and contrast it with these degenerate times. Whoa. And that concludes my segment. Jax, you're up.
All right, in true busy mom fashion, I haven't looked at this until this morning. The present. My business, if I have any here today, is with the present. The accepted time with God and His cause is the ever-living now. We have business with the past only as we can make it useful to the present and to the future. To all inspiring motives to noble deeds which can be gained from the past, we are welcome. But now is the important time. What have I, or those I represent, to do with your nation or national independence? Fellow citizens, pardon me, allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural injustice. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I should have read this before. And of natural justice embodied in the Declaration of Independence extended to us, and am I, therefore, called upon to confess the benefits and expression devout gratitude for those blessings resulting from your independence to us. Would to God, both for your sakes and ours, that an affirmative answer could be truthfully returned to these questions. Then would my task be light and my burden easy and delightful. But such is not the case. I say it with a sad sense of disparity between us. I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You might rejoice. I must mourn. Standing here, identifying with the American slave, making his wrongs mine, I do not hesitate to declare with all my soul that the character and conduct of this nation never looked blacker to me than on this 4th of July. Whether we turn to the declarations of the past or to the professions of the present, the conduct of the nation seems equally hideous and revolting. America is false to its past, false to its present, and solemnly blinds herself to the faults of the future. Standing with God and the crushed and bleeding slave on this occasion, I will, in the name of humanity, which is outraged, in the name of liberty, which is fettered, in the name of the Constitution and the Bible, dare to call in question and to denounce everything that serves to perpetuate slavery, the great sin and shame of America. I will not equivocate. I will not excuse. I will not use the severest language I can command, and yet not one word shall escape me that any man whose judgment is not blinded by prejudice, or who is not at heart a slaveholder, shall not confess to be right and just. Fellow citizens, above your national joy, I hear the mournful wail of millions, whose chains, heavy and grievous yesterday, are today rendered more intolerable by the jubilee shouts that reach them. To forget them, to pass lightly over their wrongs, and to chime in with popular theme would be scandalous and shocking, and would make me reproach before God and the world. What am I to argue that it is wrong to make men brutes, to rob them of liberty, to work them without wages, to keep them ignorant of their relations to their fellow man, to beat them with sticks, to lay their flesh with the lash, to load their limbs with irons, to hunt them with dogs, to sell them at auction, to surrender their families, to knock out their teeth, to burn their flesh, to starve them into obedience and submission to their masters. I must argue that a system thus marked with blood and stained with pollution is wrong. No, I will not. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him, more than all other days in the year, that gross injustice and cruelty to which he is constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty an unholy license, your national greatness swelling vanity, your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. You gotta put big words in this. Denunciations of tyrants, brass fronted and pundits, and your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery, your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, empty, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes which you would disgrace a nation of savages. This is not a nation on earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of the United States at this very hour. I made it.
This third section is on the Constitution. The first sentence, the Constitution is a glorious liberty document. Those three words, glorious liberty document, are all capital letters. The Constitution is a glorious liberty document. Read its preamble, consider its purposes. Is slavery among them? Is it at the gateway, or is it in the temple? It is neither. Let me ask, if the Constitution were intended to be, by its framers and adopters, a slave-holding instrument, why neither slavery, slaveholding, nor slave can anywhere be found in it? Now, there are certain rules of interpretation for the proper understanding of all legal instruments. These rules are well established. They are plain, common sense rules, such as you and I and all of us can understand and apply without having passed years in the study of law. I doubt the idea that the question of the constitutionality or unconstitutionality of slavery is not a question for the people. I hold that every American citizen has a right to form an opinion of the Constitution and to propagate that opinion and to use all honorable means to make his opinion the prevailing one. Now take the Constitution according to its plain reading, and I defy the presentation of a single pro-slavery clause in it. On the other hand, it will be found to contain principles and purposes entirely hostile to the existence of slavery. Allow me to say, in conclusion, notwithstanding the dark picture I have this day presented of the state of the nation, I do not despair of this country. There are forces in operation which must inevitably work the downfall of slavery. The arm of the Lord is not shortened, in quotes, and the doom of slavery is certain. I therefore leave off where I began, with hope. While drawing encouragement from the Declaration of Independence, the great principles it contains, and the genius of American institutions, my spirit is also cheered by the obvious tendencies of the age. Nations do not now stand in the same relation to each other than they did ages ago. No nation can now shut itself up from the surrounding world and trot round in the same old path of fathers without interference. The time when such could be done is over. Long established customs of hurtful character could formally fence themselves in and do their evil work with social impunity. Knowledge was then confined and enjoyed by the privileged few, and the multitude walked on in mental darkness. But a change has now come over the affairs of mankind. Walled cities and empires have become unfashionable. The arm of commerce has borne away the gates of the strong city. Intelligence is penetrating the darkest corners of the world. And this in 1852, he's writing, I think, speaking with. It makes its pathway over and under the sea as well as on the earth. Wind, steam, and lightning are its chartered agents. Oceans no longer divide, but link nations together. From Boston to London is now a holiday excursion. Space is comparatively annihilated. In 1852, thoughts expressed on one side of the Atlantic are distinctly heard on the other. The far-off and almost fabulous Pacific rolls in grandeur at our feet. The fiat of the Almighty, "Let there be light," has not yet spent its force. No abuse, no outrage, whether in taste, sports, or avarice, can now hide itself from the all-pervading light. The iron shoe and crippled foot of China must be seen in contrast with nature. Africa must rise and put on her yet unwoven garment. Ethiopia shall stretch out her hand unto God. In the fervent aspirations of William Lloyd Garrison, I say, and let every heart join in saying it, and he quotes these lyrics. God speed the year of Jubilee, the wide world over, when from their galling chains set free, the oppressed shall vilely bend the knee and wear the yoke of tyranny like brutes no more. That year will come and freedom's reign, to man his plundered rights again. Restore, God, speed the day when human blood shall cease to flow. In every clime be understood the claims of human brotherhood, and each return for evil good, not blow for blow. That day will come all feuds to end, and change into a faithful friend each foe. So that concludes these 3 segments. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, Jax, and Tom. Nicely done, all. Now, we have a very joyous song about changing the world. It's called Turn the World Around. It's in your teal hymnal, and it's number 1074. closing words will come in just a minute. But before that, I want to point out that our postlude today will be the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which the words that we're familiar with most were written by Julia Ward Howe during the Civil War. But before that, it was, there had several other versions, and you'll see it on there. It's very worthwhile to look it up on Wikipedia if you're interested in the history of music at all. Our closing words are written by Nelson Mandela. I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way, but I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can rest only for a moment, for with freedom comes responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. Please join us for refreshments and go in peace.
Yeah.